Come in. Started on TikTok. Welcome in, everybody, on TikTok and YouTube. Spreads and Subs, episode 8. We'll let everybody come on, get in here before we start off the show. We had a phenomenal day yesterday. We'll get into it. We needed to bounce back after a tough day on Monday, and we got that here on Tuesday. So we'll give it one more minute for everybody to pop on in here, and then we'll get her going. All right, let's get underway here. Spreads and Subs, episode 8, Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. We can start by recapping the day yesterday. As always, we give 10 bets on here. We cut it down to 3 by the end of the show, and then those will be our best bets that we track our record on. On YouTube, you can see in the top right corner our record for the week and overall on the show. But before we get underway here, quick shout out to Bet Openly. Bet Openly has the best odds in the game. If you hit the link in the description on YouTube, sign up and deposit $50. Take a screenshot of that and DM it on Twitter to me at JReidNBA. That's JREIDNBA on Twitter or X. I will be able to enter you into a giveaway for some cash. So I recommend doing that. Once again, Bet Openly, the best odds in the game. DM it to me on Twitter when you sign up and deposit $50 at JReidNBA on Twitter, JREIDNBA. And shout out to Bet Openly once again for sponsoring the show. So yesterday, we'll get into it. We had a phenomenal day yesterday. The 10 bets I gave out, we went 9-1 on those 10 bets. 6-0, perfect 6-0 on NBA and 3-1 on MLB. Unfortunately, for our best bets record, we went 2-1 because that one loss of our 10 was one of our best bets. That was the Royals Mariners over 7.5. Other than that, the other 9 bets we gave out all hit yesterday. So I hope that you guys did take advantage of that. Today we have another slate of 6 NBA picks and 4 MLB picks on the day. Hopefully we can go close to 9-1 again. I was very happy with our performance yesterday, especially after a tough day on Monday. So let's get right into it here. First pick of the day, we have Cat. Any WNBA picks tonight? No, but if you got a tip for me, please let me know. Maybe if anybody actually wants me to get into some WNBA stuff, when we get into the season where we got nothing but WNBA and MLB, maybe I will start looking for it. At the end of the day, it's not as much as what you know about the sport as is how much you can follow trends, as always. So I'm somebody who can follow trends, and I will look as much as I can to try to get some WNBA picks later on in the summer, so we're not just stuck with only MLB. But starting it off, Cavs plus 15.5 tonight. The Celtics are 7-8 in their last 15 playoff games in TD Garden, which is a bit of an anomaly. It's hard to believe, but they just haven't been as good at home as you would expect them to be in the playoffs over the past couple seasons. So I see this as an opportunity to definitely a match for our team member. We should do an NBA. Yeah, man, are you a WNBA savant over there, the beast? But yeah, Celtics have not been as good at home as we would have expected them to be over the past couple of years. This is a big spread at 15.5. Donovan Mitchell not expected to play in this game, but we've seen in all the games in this series, even the last one with out Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs have been able to compete for at least 3 quarters in all these games. They've been in the games. I think a spread of 15.5 is really, really big here, especially in the NBA playoffs in the second round. So I take this as an opportunity to, even though I think the Celtics win this game, I think it could be closer than 15.5. Think we see about anywhere from a 10 to 12 point win here for the Celtics. So moving on to our next pick for this game, I have Celtics team total under 109.5. This hit in 3 of the 4 games this series for the Celtics. They've been under 109.5, including the last 3 games in a row. They've been under the 109.5. They've also been under 109.5 in 6 of their 9 playoff games this season. They have not been as dynamic on offense as we would have expected based on what we've seen in the regular season for the Celtics, and especially when you're playing against a defense in the Cavs, who's a top 5 defense in the NBA. I don't think that's going to change with losing Donovan Mitchell. He's one of the worst defenders probably on this starting rotation for the Cavs. Getting him out should only improve the defense, and I think we see the Celtics stay under that 109.5 today. Moving on along here with my last pick for this game, Evan Mobley over 16.5 points. This hit in all 4 games this series. Mobley has really feasted on this Celtics lack of rim protection. He struggled with the rim protection in the first series against the Magic. He wasn't as good. He's really starting to get comfortable now that he's getting to play consecutive games. He's been beat up for a lot of this season. I think not having Porzingis, not having any rim protection really at all is probably the biggest weakness for the Celtics. Evan Mobley's really been able to conquer that. I think we see him around the 20-point mark today. I don't think this should be affected negatively at all if Donovan Mitchell plays. And I think if he doesn't play, which it looks like he won't, I think this will just be even better for us here at 16.5. So Evan Mobley over 16.5 is my third play for this game. Let's see here. Moving on to the second NBA game, Mavs and Thunder. The series is tied at 2-2. And my first play is Mavs Thunder under 212.5. This hit in 3 of the 4 games this series for the Mavs and the Thunder. This series is just trending more and more defensive as it progresses. We saw early on in the series, both teams were scoring a ton of points in game 1, game 2. We saw it get over to Dallas, and it kind of tanked, to be completely honest. None of the superstars outside of really Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have been phenomenal in this series. They haven't been scoring the ball well, especially Luka and Kyrie. Kyrie's problem is just he hasn't been getting enough shots. He's been okay efficiency-wise. Luka has been very inefficient, hasn't played well at all. This is probably his worst playoffs of his career so far, and I expect this game to go under. It's very interesting to see how the series is progressing going defensively with 2 such offensive juggernauts in the Mavs and the Thunder. I expect these last few games of the series, which I do expect the series to go 7. I expect these last 3 games of the series to just be absolute dogfights and hit low unders here. We got it at 212.5 for Mavs and Thunder. Moving on here to the Mavs first quarter money line in the Mavs Thunder game. OKC's been getting off to some pretty bad starts in this playoff series so far. Mainly because, not completely, but mainly because of Josh Giddey. Giddey just has not been great at all for most of the season and most of the past year and a half, to be completely honest. And he starts for OKC each and every game. I know a lot of Thunder fans out there have been saying that is the main reason why they've been getting off to these slow starts. I think it's definitely a big part of the reason he's going to continue to start tonight. I think they get off to another slow start against the Mavs in the first quarter. And the reason I've been waiting to take this first quarter money line, I didn't take it on the 2 games in Dallas, is because Dallas was favored. Now we're back in OKC. OKC is the favorite. I still think we see a slow start, though, from OKC. And I think we get the Dallas Mavericks to cover this first quarter money line. Luka is also got to be due. At some point, he's going to have to start getting it going early. He is not, like I said, he's had a really tough playoff so far. We know he's one of the best players in the world. We know he's eventually going to get hot. It seems like he's about to turn that corner, and I hope it is today. So Dallas first quarter money line is my bet there. Moving on here to my last NBA bet of the day. Lou Dort under 10.5 points. He's split in the playoffs so far. 4 of 8 games he's hit this. He played really well in the New Orleans series in the first round. Due to a lot of dominant games, he got a lot more playing time in those games. This series against the Mavs, he's hit it in 3 of 4 games. He has not been great. It seems that the Thunder realize they need to see the scoring from Shai. They need to see it from Jalen Williams. They need to see it from Chet. And it's not going to come from Lou Dort as much as it was in the New Orleans series. He has not been great on the offensive end this series. He's going to have to continue to lock in on the defensive end and do his best job he can of stopping this Mavs offense as best as he can. And I think that's going to be able to take away from his offensive abilities, as he will be chasing around guys all game for the Mavs. And let me move on here to a couple MLB bets for y'all. Let's see what we got here. First one, we have the Nats and the White Sox over 7.5 total runs. Corbin is on the mound for the Nats. He has an almost 6 ERA on the season so far. He had a great year. I believe it was in 2022. 2023, he came out flat, played bad the entire season. 2024 so far, he has not been good at all. He's really been slumping over the past couple of years. I expect that to continue today. Crochet is on the mound for the Sox. He's got a mid-4s ERA. We took the over on the last time Crochet started in the White Sox game, and that did hit, even though Crochet did have an okay outing. I expect the White Sox bats to be a lot better today against Corbin, and the Nats have to produce some sort of offense against Crochet, who's coming off of a good start. I think they do. And we get this over 7.5 at plus 105 as well, which you don't get many over 7.5s at plus money unless you have two aces on the mound, and this is the opposite of that situation. I'm not particularly sure why it's at plus 105, but we're gonna take it regardless. That's a great line for us there. Moving on here to the next MLB bet for y'all, we have Cardinals Angels over 8.5 total runs. Lance Lynn is on the mound for the Cardinals. He has an almost 4 ERA in the season. He's been all right, not phenomenal. Canning is on the mound for the Angels, almost 6 ERA. He has been very bad. The Angels games have been hitting a lot of overs over the past week and a half or so. So I've been waiting to find a perfect opportunity to take them. And once they have a bad pitcher on the mound, hopefully they can hit the ball well against Lance Lynn. I thought this would be closer to a minus 115 at over 8.5. It's actually at a minus 105, I believe. So that's an absolute steal for us here. We're all about taking value plays whenever we can get them, and this is the definition of a value play. All right, moving on here. 2 more MLB bets before we move on to the best bets. We have Marlins Tigers over 8.5 plus 105. Trevor Rogers is on the mound for Miami. He's been absolutely horrible this year. 0-6 with a mid-6s ERA. Casey Mize on the mound for the Tigers. He's been okay. He's not been his best self all year this year, coming off of injury. He's really been giving up a lot of hits and a lot of runs to teams all year. I don't absolutely love taking an over in a game between the Tigers and the Marlins, but I think we get really good value here at plus 105 at 8.5. And like I just said, we're going to take the value we can at all times. When I'm when I'm doing my research for these bets, I'm predicting in my head what I think the line is going to be, what I think the plus minus is going to be. And I was not expecting this to be plus money at 8.5. But this is a risky play, of course, with the bats not being as hot for the Tigers and Marlins, but at plus money with 2 horrible pitchers on the mound, or pitchers that have played horrible this year, I should say. This is a very easy pick here at over 8.5 plus 105. Last MLB bet here, we have the Royals money line plus 120. They have Marsh on the mound for the Royals. He has a sub-3 ERA, 3-0 in the year, has not lost a game all year. The Royals bats tend to heat up when he pitches, or at least they have this year so far. So we expect them to be hot, of course. The Royals were part of our one and only of our 10 bets to lose yesterday, but we're going to continue with them. The Royals bats just tend to heat up, like I said, when he pitches. Wu is on the mound for the Mariners. He only has 1 start this year. He pitched well. Although it was against the A's, he only pitched 4 innings, but I believe he only gave up 1 hit and 0 runs. He was good in that game. But the Royals have won 6 of 9 recently. They're getting really hot. The Mariners have been just okay. Nothing super special from them. But I think the Royals go out there and win today with Marsh on the mound, making him 4-0 in the season. And I think the bats continue to stay hot with him on the mound. Okay. We have our 10 picks now. I'll read them off one more time for everybody on TikTok who cannot see the visual. Everybody on TikTok, if you want to see a more visual outlook of all these picks with all the odds on them, go to the hashmark YouTube. They're all on there, but I will read them off for everybody on TikTok. Cavs plus 15.5. Celtics team total under 109.5. Evan Mobley over 16.5 points. Mavericks Thunder game under 212.5. Mavs first quarter money line in that game plus 120. Lou Dort under 10.5 points. Nats White Sox over 7.5 runs at plus 105. Cardinals, Angels over 8.5 runs. Marlins, Tigers over 8.5 runs at plus 105, and Royals money line at plus 120. So as always, for everybody new here, I give my 10 bets to start off the show, and then I cut it down to my 3 best bets live on the show. I do not do this beforehand. I do it live, and I'm going to go with, for my first one, the Dallas Mavericks first quarter money line. Like I said, the Thunder have been getting off to really slow starts in this series, been waiting patiently over the past few days here for the line to switch over for the Thunder to be favored so we can take the Mavs in the first quarter and get them at plus money. And we get them here at plus 120 to win the first quarter. I think they do that easily. I think they get off to another hot start. I think we finally see Luka get into his bag in the first quarter, which we know he can do. I think he does that today and finally starts building on what needs to be a better playoff run from him. And then maybe we see Kyrie hit a few shots also in that first quarter. Moving on here, my second best bet of the day, Nationals, White Sox, over 7.5 total runs at plus 105. Like I said, we got a guy on the mound who has an almost 6 ERA. We have a guy on the mound who has a mid-4s ERA. Both pitchers have not been great so far this season. Of course, both offenses have not been great either. But when you can get over 7.5 at plus money, the only time you're going to get that is when you have 2 aces on the mound. And we, for some reason, have it here with 2 players who are the farthest thing from aces. So I think this, if I had to pick my favorite bet of these 10 here, it would be the Nationals White Sox over 7.5. And these games are coming up, so I would place these ASAP. Last bet here, Royals money line, plus 120. Like I said, they have their best pitcher on the mound, or one of their best pitchers on the mound in March. They've had a great pitching all season. He has a sub-3 ERA, 3-0, has not lost a game yet this year. The Royals' bats have been hot when he's been on the mound. I expect that to continue, and they've been hot as a team, winning 6 of 9 overall, and the Mariners have just been okay, about hovering around 500 for the past month or so. Okay, so repeating those one last time, my 3 best bets for today are Dallas Mavericks first quarter money line, plus 120. Nationals, White Sox, over 7.5, plus 105. Royals money line, plus 120. I believe this is the first time I've ever given out 3 plus money picks as my 3 best bets. Maybe it's a little risky here, but I feel really good about all these. I don't think any of these should be plus money. I think they should all be around the minus 110 to minus 115 range, except for maybe the Royals around plus 100, but we get them at plus 120. So for the last time on everybody on TikTok who cannot see it visually, Mavericks first quarter money line, Nationals White Sox over 7.5, and Royals money line. Once again, I want to give a shout out to the people at Bet Openly on YouTube. Go to the description of this video, click on the link to go to Bet Openly, deposit $50, and send me a screenshot at JReedNBA on Twitter, and I can get you into a giveaway for some cash. Once again, shout out to Bet Openly for sponsoring the show. The best odds in the game. As for the schedule for the week, I told you I would give this today. There will not be a show tomorrow. I will be traveling. I'll be on the plane and in airports for most of the day tomorrow, so there will not be a show. But we will be back on Friday at the regular time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 11 a.m. Pacific, giving you 10 more picks and cutting it down to 3 best bets. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope we do as good as we did yesterday, going 9-1. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I hope you guys take the right picks of this group here, and I'll see everybody on Friday. Thank you.